All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today is the first of the new month, which means it is power rankings time. So I'm doing my power rankings for start the month of February here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. Links to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So as for all of these, we'll start from 30, go to 1. These are all my personal opinions. So if you differ, think different, leave down in the comment section below what you think. So starting at number 30, we have the Washington Wizards. They are 6-41, worst record in the league, 15th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 30th rated offense, the 30th rated defense, 30th in net rating. They dropped 2 spots from last power ranking video. They went almost a win this month in January. They won the first game of the new year against the Bulls, and now they are currently on a 16-game losing streak, their second 16-game losing streak of the season. They are 6-41. I made a short about them yesterday, so you can go back and watch that. But more in depth talk about this Wizards team. Yeah, I mean, this is their second losing streak of 16 plus this season. All these games haven't really been close. On this 16-game losing streak, they're losing by an average of 19.5 points per game. And I just saw, I forgot who posted it this morning, but the Wizards, they have like the biggest point differential, losing point differential in NBA history. They're losing by like 14.5 points per game this season. So it hasn't like it's been competitive, tanking where you lose a couple games. They're just like, dang, we lost just because we want to lose anything. Like they're getting destroyed. Like they're getting beat. Like their last couple games, their last 3 games, they lost to the Lakers by, 38, lost to the Raptors by 24, and then lost to the Mavericks by 22. Yeah, they just really, really bad. Yeah, we're watching one of the worst teams ever. I mean, this is 6-41 is tied for the third worst start through this amount of games in NBA history. Our third worst record throughout this many games in NBA history. So yeah, they're on pace probably to win about the other teams that started like 6-41. They've won 14, 15 games. This Wizards team though, I don't know, man. Like it's gonna be a struggle just to get to 10 at this point. Like it's been very bad, which is what they want to do. They want to go out and lose as many games as possible because they desperately, more than anybody else in the NBA, need the number 1 overall pick, really bad. But it's tough, and they have the Kyle Kuzma situation where he had things to say a couple weeks ago. He was like, "I'm not trying to fit in anymore. I'm just gonna do my own thing." All that stuff. Again, desperately, they need to trade Kyle Kuzma. And yeah, it's just not too much to really grab onto if you're Washington. Jordan Poole's having a good year. Bilal Coulibaly and Alex Sarr, Bub Carrington show some things here and there, but not really much to grab onto if you're Washington. And now at this point, it's just like, all right, how many wins are we gonna get this year? Can we get to double digits? Let's see what happens. At 29, we have the Utah Jazz. They are 10-36, sitting at 15th in the Western Conference. They have the 22nd rated offense, 29th rated defense, and are 28th in net rating. They stay the same from last power ranking video. Jazz, again, another team that just should be very bad, should be losing as many games as possible, and that's what they're doing. Not much excitement going on in Utah right now. Besides, Colin Sexton, I feel like he's having a really good season, shooting 41% from 3, averaging 18 points per game. John Collins has been solid. Maybe there's been talks that the Kings and them are discussing trades, or maybe John Collins gets moved, which would be a good thing for them. Walker Kessler's having a really good year, leading the league in field goal percentage, give you 11-11 with 2 blocks. Bryce Sensabaugh, your first-round pick from last year, has shown that he's got some ability, shooting 39% from 3, averaging almost 10 points per game. So you have a couple of things. Isaiah Collier's looked solid. He's had some decent moments. So you have some okay things going on in Utah right now. It's not super exciting, and probably one of the teams that you've watched the least in the NBA. But, at least there's some things going on. At least you're going to get a really nice pick this year. So that's kind of the upside, I guess, you see in Utah. At 28, we have the Charlotte Hornets. They are 12-33, 14th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 28th rated offense, 15th defense, 24th in net rating. They drop 1 spot from last power ranking video. The Hornets, it's just been another kind of pretty bad year. They start off the year kind of okay and fun to watch. Then they won a 10-game losing streak that ended December to January. And since then, it's been kind of just like, we got the news, unfortunately, Brandon Miller is going to miss the rest of the season due to a wrist injury, which really, really sucks and takes a lot of the fun out of the Hornets season. LaMelo's going to miss a week due to an ankle injury. And it's just been very bad. I haven't seen Trey Mann in a very long time. It's been tough. They traded away Nick Richards. And Josh Okogie in his 7 games has actually been pretty good. Mark Williams is back, and Mark Williams is playing some great basketball. So that's one good thing you see on the upside of this team. But yeah, there's just not really much more to watch with this Hornets team if LaMelo's not playing and if Brandon Miller's not playing. It's just not too much, and it's just a really tough situation because you don't expect the like I think I've said it every time I talk about the Hornets, but I don't feel like they should be this bad anymore. Like I don't think they should be a playoff team, but I don't think they should be like 14th in the East. I don't think they're 14th in the East bad anymore. Like they shouldn't be this bad anymore. So they have a lot more work to do than I feel like we maybe even expected, you know? So yeah, it sucks, but the Hornets, they've quickly fallen from a team that I loved watching to a team that's like, all right, we don't really need to pay attention to this team anymore. At 27, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. They are 12 and 37, sitting at 14th in the West. They have the 26th rated offense, 28th rated defense, our 29th in net rating. They jump 3 spots from last power ranking video. The Pelicans, they went on a little hot streak. Pelicans went on a little hot streak. They went on a little 4-game win streak, in the middle of January. But since then, now they've lost 5 in a row. They lost a close back-to-back close games. One to the Mavericks and then last night to the Celtics where Jason Tatum gamed them. But they looked a little bit competent, but still very bad. Still a lot of injuries. When Zion is back and Zion when he is playing, I've loved what I've seen from Zion, man. Like I really do. I want to buy back in so bad to Zion, but we just know that the injury problems are there, so I can't fully 100% commit to it. But man, when Zion is out there, he looks so good. And if I'm an opposing team, honestly, I would really check to see what the price for Zion is, man. Because when he's out there playing, it looks really good. Trey Murphy also has been one of the biggest bright spots. He's been very good. He dropped 40 last night. He's averaging 22 points per game. He's looking like he's taking another leap. CJ McCollum for the last month has been on a heater, up in his trade value. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. We still haven't seen Brandon Ingram in a while. We just found out DeJounte Murray tore his Achilles last night. Prayers up to him. Hopefully he can get back as quickly as possible. That really, really sucks. But DeJounte, unfortunately, is going to miss the rest of the season. There's been some talk about Brandon Ingram trades potentially. Maybe the Hawks are a team that interested. The Heat may be a team that's interested. So hopefully maybe we get a Brandon Ingram trade soon. And hopefully the Pelicans, after this injury, unfortunately, are going to have to probably realize, okay, let's start selling CJ, BI. Let's sell some things, off this bench and let's regroup for next season. What the Pelicans should do. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of what it has to be. Even though they did go on a little hot streak that gave not me confidence because it didn't really mean anything, but maybe get the team like, oh shoot, maybe we can do this. But now it's kind of like, okay, never mind, not anymore. At 26, we have the Brooklyn Nets. They are 15 and 33, sitting at 13th in the Eastern Conference. They're the 27th rated offense, 27th rated defense, 27th in net rating. They dropped 2 spots on last power ranking video. The Nets, they finally are fully into the tank job. Finally, after the first month and a half being a lot better than they should be, and then December kind of just fading out a little bit. January, they really took it to the max. They went 3 and 13 in the month of January, went on a 5-game and a 7-game losing streak. And yeah, now they've dropped all the way in. They're in with the Raptors and the Hornets in them, which a lot of people thought maybe wasn't possible. But right now, looking at it, they would have a top 5 pick right now. So the Nets are fully committed to the tank job. Trading away DFS, Shake Milton, bringing in D'Angelo Russell, who's actually been decent. Cam Thomas hasn't played in a while. He's on and off. And yeah, just getting a lot of other guys in. Nick Claxton, Jalen Wilson, Noah Clowney, Keon Johnson is getting a lot of minutes. Ben Simmons is getting a lot of playtime. Tyrese Martin has been getting a lot of playtime. Even Tosan Evbuam, who they signed as a 2-way, has been getting he's averaging 25 minutes per game. So they're fully embracing the tank job. They've really done a great job of catching up down there. And yeah, now they're very, very bad and in contention for the top 5 pick. Next, the only thing we got to wait to see is where Cam Johnson gets moved. Where the Cam Johnson situation, where is he going to end up? But besides that, there's not really much more to watch for the Brooklyn Nets anymore, which is what they wanted, which is what they needed, At 25, we have the Toronto Raptors. They are 15 and 33, sitting at 12th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 23rd rated offense, 25th rated defense, and are 25th in net rating. They jump 1 spot from last power ranking video. The Raptors actually ended January very nice. They won 7 of their last 9 games, which is not good for their tank job, but it's like, dang, showing some things. They went on a 5-game win streak before last night being beat by the Bulls. What is not the greatest of wins. I mean, it's against the Hawks, the Pelicans, the Wizards, but it's wins at the end of the day. Scotty Barnes has really been good. When he's healthy, he's shown how great he is. RJ Barrett's still been pretty solid. Chris Boucher built up his trade value. There's been a lot of talk about Bruce Brown the trade, market for him. Ochai Agbaji has been pretty solid, so like they've been pretty good. They've been pretty good. They actually do have like a good team. I say all the time that I really liked, and genuinely, I think if they actually tried to compete this year, they definitely would be in the play in the Eastern Conference. But that's not what they want to do. They want to tank, which is what that's what they want to do. And so far, they're doing a pretty solid job at it. They are winning a little bit more games though, so they're gonna have to kind of reel it back in a little bit. But like they still are a team that I kind of think are good. They're a lot better than what their record says. At 24, we have the Portland Trailblazers. They are 19 and 29 at 13th in the Western Conference. They have the 25th rated offense, 26th rated defense, 26th in net rating. They jump up one spot from last power ranking video. Kind of similar to the Raptors, the Blazers ended off January very nice. They've won 6 of their last 7 games, and they've played some really good basketball. They beat the Bulls, they beat Miami and Orlando twice. They beat Milwaukee. Their only loss was to OKC, but they kept it, kind of closer than expected with OKC. So they ended off the month very, very nice. And I made a whole video about them, really going in depth a couple days ago. So you can go back and watch that video on the channel when I really got into Portland. But I genuinely like a lot of the things going on with the Blazers. Scoot Henderson has been one of the biggest talks for them. They're kind of a rival of him in his last 7 games. And this past 2-week stretch, he's looked very, very good. And looks like he's finally figured himself out in the NBA. Shane Sharp has been pretty solid. Anthony Simons has been hitting his shots. Toumani Camara, Deni Avdija has been very, very good as well. So they're just finding a lot of things. They're really building on this defense, which was pretty okay last year. This year, the numbers don't really say it. But their defense has been kind of getting a lot better, and that's been helping a lot. So the Blazers actually look like, a competent team. They also are a team that has been very kind of, you don't know what you're going to get. Like, there's been weeks where it's like, oh, dang, they're competing with this team. They beat this team, like what the heck. Then there's been other weeks where it's been like, dang, they lose by 30 to like a team that's on the same level as them. So we never really know what kind of Blazers are going to come. Are they going to be like the bottom of the barrel Blazers, or are we going to get the actual like competent Blazers? We never know. But recently we've gotten the competent one, and it's been very entertaining. So I'm very interested to see how the rest of the season goes in Portland. At 23, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. They are 19 and 28 at 11th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 21st rated offense, 23rd rated defense, and are 23rd in net rating. They dropped 3 spots from last power ranking video. The Sixers, we all know, just been struggling so much this year with the injuries and everything going on. They're still looking in on the play-in behind the Chicago Bulls. They did go on a little 4-game win streak, though. Near the end of January, they beat the Cavs, they beat the Lakers, Sacramento. They lost last night in a really good game to the Denver Nuggets. But they looked a little bit more confident after going on a 7-game losing streak in the middle of January. They kind of ended January off pretty nice. They're still about 2 games back at the play-in, and there's real decisions to make for Philadelphia in terms of the trade deadline coming up. The trade deadline literally coming up this week, and what the direction is for this team. So I got distracted. A trade, I guess, just happened. Not a big one, but a trade just happened. I got a notification. But anyway, the 76ers, they have some real decisions to make. Speaking of trades and the trade deadline, real decisions to make. With the trade deadline coming up this week, what direction do they want to go in? They have a lot of role players and guys on their team that there's been talks maybe selling, guys like Caleb Martin, and them not blowing everything up, but just trading some of their role players away, because they do have their draft pick this year is only top 6 protected. If it falls 7 or below, it goes to the OKC Thunder, because why not for OKC? But the Sixers have some real decisions to make in terms of, do we go all in and say, you know what, we are confident in this team, we won a couple games, we can make the play-in. All we have to do is take out the Bulls, and then, we take our chances with teams like the Pistons and the Hawks and the Magic and them. Or do we say, you know what, this season's been tough, why should we do all this fight just to be a 9 seed, and then we have to win 2 games, and then we have a matchup with the Cavaliers in the first round? Like, it's going to be another first round exit. It's going to be so much just to get back into the play-in and get to the playoffs that, you know what, let's just, sell this season, sell some of our role players. Joel, just sit. Joel, if you're not healthy, if you don't, feel 100%, then don't play. PG, same to you. If you don't feel 100%, then just whatever. You could sit. Tyrese, you can do whatever you need to do. And let's just try to go all in on this, tank job and get a top and keep our pick for this year, which most likely is going to be tough, because you're going to have to catch teams like the Raptors and the Nets who are actively trying to lose, and it's going to be very tough to do that, but maybe take a chance and say, let's just hope the lottery numbers spin our way and we can somehow get this pick back, but that's for Daryl Morey and the Sixers to decide. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting this week to see what the direction is gonna happen for the 76ers. At 22, we have the Chicago Bulls. They are 21 and 28, 10th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 17th rated offense, 24th rated defense, and are 22nd in net rating. They jump up one spot from last power ranking video. Bulls still holding on to being average, well, kind of below average, I guess. They're 7 games below 500, yet they're still in the play-in conversation in the East. Because yeah, that's just what the Bulls do. They have players playing really good basketball. Zach LaVine is playing really good. Nikola Vucevic is playing really good. Lonzo Ball is playing really good. Those three are all trade candidates at the trade deadline. Hopefully, we can get them off and get some, decent things back for them. But yeah, I mean, they're still kind of just decent. They're not great. They're not bad. They're just kind of like, they're in there. And I guess in the Eastern Conference, that's good enough to be a playing team, you know. So yeah, unfortunate. They're not fully going in on the tank. Well, I guess they gotta kind of have to wait for trades to happen for them to go all in on the tank. But yeah, I guess they might be a playing team again in the Eastern Conference. So take that what you will. At 21, we have the Atlanta Hawks. They are 22 and 26 on 9th in the Eastern Conference. 24th rated offense, 16th rated defense, 21st in net rating. They are tied for the biggest drop in this power ranking, dropping 7 spots. The Hawks, January was very tough for the Hawks. After being one of the more exciting, fun teams in the East, around a 6, 7 seed, it was like, dang, all right. And then January hit, 2025 hit, and things took a big turn. They went from 18 and 15, 22 and 26. They went 4 and 11 in the month of January. They're currently on a 7-game losing streak, and they have fallen multiple games below 500. Injuries have really hit them. Trae Young has missed a couple games. Clint Capella has been in and out. They've had some injury problems. Now we just found out Jalen Johnson is going to miss the rest of the season, which really, really sucks. He's been having such a great season too. But yeah, the Hawks, they've really come back down to earth. I mean, the offense just hasn't really been there wholly, especially without Jalen Johnson, a guy who's literally got 19, 10, and 5. He also helps on your defense a lot. Like, he just brings so much, a new dynamic to this team. It's going to be really tough without him. They still have guys like DeAndre Hunter. Dyson Daniels has still been decent. Zachary Rasache had a really good game last game against the Cavaliers. And Kongu starts now, so that's an interesting thing. But yeah, the Hawks, it's just really tough. They're just going to have to hope that injury luck gets back on their side at some point. And they're going to need a lot of people to step up, especially Trae Young. Trae Young's probably going to have to dig a lot more back into that 27, 28 point per game type of bag, to really keep this Hawks team afloat. Because right now, it's a struggle in Atlanta. At number 20, we have the San Antonio Spurs. They are 21 and 24, sitting at 12th in the Western Conference. They have the 15th rated offense, 19th rated defense, and are 20th in net rating. They drop 4 spots from last power ranking video. Spurs, after having a really exciting December, getting over 500, looking like a playoff, playing, potentially seeking the playoff team, one of the more fun teams. So it's like, yeah, here come the Spurs. And then January hit, and they've hit the reverse a little bit. After winning their first game of January against the Nuggets, since winning that first game, they are 3 and 7. Overall, went 4 and 7. I'm sorry, 4 and 8 in the month of January. 4 and 8 in the month of January. Got a good big win against the Bucks last night, but yeah, just really tough. Their defense has not been as great. Haven't been as sharp really. Wemby is still doing his thing. A lot of the other guys have kind of been fluctuating this year. Now we have all the De'Aaron Fox news that potentially could happen, which I would love a De'Aaron Fox in San Antonio. That could really make them a playoff team this year with how good De'Aaron Fox is. So that's probably going to be the whole talk of the week until the trade deadline hits. But it sucks, but the Spurs, they're still a good enough team. I still really believe in the Spurs team. I still think they're pretty good and still think they can definitely make the play in the Western Conference. They're just going to have to string together a couple wins, get that defense back going, and get things, back on track for them. At 19, we have the Golden State Warriors. They are 24 and 24, 11th in the Western Conference. They have the 19th rated offense, 11th rated defense, and are 15th in net rating. They dropped 2 spots from last power ranking video. The Golden State Warriors, it's just been kind of, I guess, mid since the first month of the year. It's just been very downhill. It's been fluctuating. They got a big win against the Thunder the other day, but then last night they get blown out by the Suns. It's just been that's what it's been. It's just been back and forth. Like, you win 2 games in a row, that's like, oh, dang, here come the Warriors. Then they lose 2 games in a row that they shouldn't lose, and it's like, bro, what is going on? It's just been very up and down. All the talk has really been about a trade, which should happen, should make it a trade, but how desperate are they going to be? There's been a lot of talks in the past few days heating up about Zach LaVine potential move happening. Draymond's missed the last couple games. Jonathan Kuminga has been injured. Steph has been in and out. And the role players haven't been just that good at all. I mean, they're playing Quentin Post now, who has been pretty good since playing, but it's just been a struggle for Golden State. To really kind of figure out what this team is. And at the end of the day, they're just not good enough right now. And a Zach LaVine trade, I wouldn't mind it at all. I mean, it'll really send a message like, hey, Steph, we still believe in you. Getting another guy like Zach can get you 23, 25, 26 points, a night would be very huge for this team. And it's just going to probably be something you kind of just have to do, in terms of, like we got to do everything we can to kind of salvage anything at this point or just be comfortable being average. At 18, we have the Orlando Magic. They're 24-25 at 8th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 29th rated offense, 3rd rated defense, 19th in net rating. And I misspoke earlier when I said the Hawks have the biggest tie for the biggest drop. The Magic actually did have the biggest drop. They dropped 10 spots from last power ranking video. The Magic, after being one of the more beloved teams, they're staying afloat without Franz and Paolo. Everything was good. Paolo and Franz are back now, but they ended January on a very bad note. They ended January losing 7 of their last 8 games. They went 4-11 in the month of January. Now they're under 500 and battling with the Hawks and the Pistons and the play-in. After being a comfortable top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference for most of the season. So really tough. They do have Paolo and Franz back, which is good. Their offense has just been horrible. I mean, they just cannot shoot the 3 ball to save their lives, man. Like they're a horrible 3-point shooting team. One of the worst shooting team in the NBA right now. The offense just has not been there. Out of this 7 of their last 8 games they've lost, they scored under 100 6 times. 6 times in the past 8 games. I'm sorry, no. 5 times. 5 times in the past 8 games, they scored less than 100 points. They had a game where they scored 79 points against the Portland Trailblazers, who aren't a good defense at all, really much either. Like, it's been very, very bad. They had a brutal double overtime loss to Miami where they were in control, and then they let Miami come back in the last couple minutes and find a way to win that game. So it's been very tough for the Magic. Their offense has been bad. I'm interested to see what their trade deadline looks like for Orlando. If they do go out and try to get some more shooting and get another score, which they desperately need. And, with Paolo and Franz back, at least it makes things easier. So when those two finally find their rhythm again, which they have had some pretty good games, when they do find their rhythm together again, hopefully it shoots Orlando back up. Because honestly, Orlando, all they need to do, win a couple, go on a little 5-game win streak, and all of a sudden they're back up in the top 5 in the Eastern Conference and everything's okay. But they just got to start finding ways to string together wins again. That's what they need to do. At 17, we have the Detroit Pistons. They are 24-24 at 7th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 18th rated offense, 14th rated defense, and are 18th in net rating. They jump up 2 spots from last power ranking video. The Pistons, keep their goodness going. They ended off December really well. They started 2025 off hot. They won 7 of their first 8 games in January, and it was looking good. Since then, they kind of ended January on a little, they lost 2 games in a row, won 2 games, lost 3. Then last night, they got a win against the Mavericks. So it's been kind of up and down a little bit to end the month. But 2025 has been pretty solid to them. They're at 500. They're comfortably sitting in the play-in right now. Kate Cunningham was named an All-Star. He's been doing great things. He dropped 40 last night. They're still playing Detroit Pistons basketball. Malik Beasley's still playing really good. Tobias has been doing his thing. Jalen Duren has looked better, a lot better in 2025. Asar Thompson is back, and he's doing some solid things there as well. Isaiah Stewart is fighting everybody. So it's Detroit Pistons basketball. Again, they're playing very solid. They're still keeping around the play-in, keeping around 500, which is all they've really asked for them at this point. And yeah, that's all. Really exciting stuff going on in Detroit. At 16, we have the Miami Heat. They are 23-23 at 6 in the Eastern Conference. They have the 16th rated offense, 10th rated defense, and are 14th in net rating. They dropped 1 spot from last power ranking video. Miami has just been kind of about average this year. That's what they've been. They've been just around 500 for most of the year. They've been at most 3 games above 500. And at most 3 games below 500. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 2 games below 500. So it's just kind of been like a average year for them, all up and down. Everything is only about Jimmy Butler right now and what's going to happen there. And they have this week to kind of make the decision on Jimmy and trade him. So that's really what everyone's going to be talking about with Miami. Tyler Hero made his first All-Star appearance, which is well-deserved. He's been playing very good this year. Kel'el Ware has been a big story for them. Kel'el Ware, since getting the actual minutes now as a starter, he's been playing some very, very good basketball in terms of he's shooting 41% from 3. He's been very good defensively. He's just been doing so many different things, and now him next to Bam, that's been a great duo. So getting Khalil Ware more minutes. He's been very good. Nikola Jovic also has been playing really well recently. So they're getting some young guys, performing. Jaime Jaquez looks a little bit more like the rookie year Jaime Jaquez, than the start of the year. So they got some things going. Things are going for Miami. Really, the only cloud is about Jimmy Butler and what's going to happen there. But besides that, they're just going to be about 500 for the rest of the year, I expect. At 15, we have the Sacramento Kings. They are 24-23, sitting at 10th in the Western Conference. They have the 7th rated offense, 17th defense, 12th in net rating. They jump up 7 spots from last power ranking video. The Kings, had a great 2025 so far. I mean, they went on that 7-game win streak. They won 10 of their last 11 games. Well, not currently, but they went on a 10. They won 10-1 in 11-game stretch. And about the start to the middle of January, they ended January off. They lost 3 of their last 4 games so far. But they're looking a lot better. I mean, Doug Christie has his team going. DeMar DeRozan looks so much better with this team. Domantas Sabonis is playing like an all-star. Malik Monk has really stepped his game up a whole lot as well. And things are just clicking for Sacramento. Things are just clicking. They're getting better. But now the whole situation, everything we're going to talk about is about De'Aaron Fox a couple days ago. The big report that they're open up to listening to trade offers for De'Aaron Fox. He has a specific destination in mind. It looks like it might be San Antonio. And there's potential that De'Aaron Fox will no longer be a King by the end of the week, which is very surprising. So that's really the only thing that's going to be talked about in Sacramento. But the Kings, they look a lot better. They look like they might get back to the play-in in the Eastern Conference. They've been hot and things are looking good. So let's see how they end the rest of the year. Was this just a little hot streak and now they're kind of looking more like the Kings that we expected? Like what's going to happen now in February? That's going to be a big thing to see, especially if they keep De'Aaron Fox. What's February going to look like for Sacramento? At 14, we have the Dallas Mavericks. They are 26-23 at 9th in the Western Conference. 8th rated offense, 12th rated defense, 10th in net rating. They drop 7 spots from last power ranking video. Luke got her on Christmas, and since Christmas, things have not been great. They went a 5-game losing streak from the end of December to early January. And since then, they've just been kind of about average. They won 2, lost 3, win a game, lose 2 games, kind of stuff. They lost last night to Detroit after winning 3 of their last 4 games. So it's just been kind of up and down. Honestly, it's just really waiting for Luka to come back. Really, that's just what it's been. Waiting for Luka to come back. Klay Thompson had a big game against Washington. So Daniel Gafford has been playing really well recently. Spencer Dinwiddie, Quentin Grimes. Some their guys are playing well. They're just the injury bugs are hitting them. It's not even just Luka. So Derek Lively is out for a little while. Maxi Kleba has an injury now. He's going to be out for a little while. So the Mavericks just been getting hit with the injury bug a lot this year. But the good thing is they're still by 500, still staying pretty solid. So that's all they kind of need until Luka comes back, and then hopefully they can kind of hit their stride and look similar to what they looked like early in the year when they were very, very good. At 13, we have the Phoenix Suns. They are 25-22, sitting at 8th in the Western Conference. They have the 11th rated offense, 22nd rated defense, and our 16th in net rating. They take the biggest jump. They jump up 8 spots from last power ranking video, surprisingly. The Suns, January was pretty solid to the Suns. After being multiple games below 500, things were looking pretty bad. They won what? They went 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10-4 in the month of January. They've won 6 of their last 8 games. Comfortably, well, not comfortably, but above 500 now, 3 games above 500. They made the Nick Richards trade, and so far he's been pretty good for them. He's taken that starting spot. Literally after 1 game, he took the starting spot. Devin Booker's been very, very nice. Kevin Durant's been solid. And they're just looking a lot better. Looking a lot better. Things are going a lot better for them. Having a paint presence like Nick Richards in there has pretty good. Tyus Jones has been decent in terms of shooting the ball. And yeah, things are just looking a little bit better for them slowly. Still have a lot of work to do. Still, there's been the whole conversation about the Jimmy Butler trade, and that's not going to stop until it happens by the end of the week. So we'll see what that goes, and maybe that can kind of lift a little bit of a cloud off of some of their players' heads, like Bradley Beal and Yusuf Nurkic and all of them. And hopefully they can get back to just basketball now with Jimmy Butler in there, if that happens. And yeah, we'll just wait and see, what that looks like. But they've been getting together a little bit. So, maybe a little bit of some inspiration, for the rest of the season. At number 12, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are 27-21, sitting at 7th in the West. They have the 14th rated offense, 6th rated defense that are 9th in net rating. They jump up 1 spot from last power ranking video. Minnesota is hot right now. They've won 5 games in a row. They had a really good month of January, won a couple winning streaks, and things are turning around a little bit. Their defense has been getting a lot better as the season progressed. Anthony Edwards is still doing Anthony Edwards things. Nas Reed has been so good, especially in January. I feel like he had a really good month, which really, really needed. Rob Dillingham is finally playing, and he's bringing some energy off the bench, especially with Dante DiVincenzo being injured. He's bringing a lot of energy. Mike Conley looks a little bit more like the old Mike Conley, shooting 38% from three now. So he's been getting better, and things are just looking a little bit better slowly for Minnesota. They're not fully back contenders yet, I feel like, but this month really turned things around a little bit, and they're looking a lot better as of recently. They're a little hot right now. They're comfortably above 500, still trying to get out of that play-in and get into that top six. But it's slowly but surely things are looking better and better as it progresses for Minnesota. There's been a lot of talk about a Julius Randle trade potentially in the last couple of days, so we'll see if that actually does happen or not. But Minnesota, slowly starting to get there. At number 11, we have the Indiana Pacers. They are 26-20 at 5th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 9th rated offense, 18th rated defense, and a 13th in net rating. They jump up 7 spots on last power ranking video. The Pacers, after having a really bad start to the year, have turned around, now one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They started off 10-15. Since then, they've gone 16-5. And in January, they went 10-2. So they have been on absolute fire. The offense looks a little bit more back. The defense has been one of the big keys. Defensively, they've been very, very good in this month. Tyrese Haliburton looks a little bit more back to his old self. Miles Turner's playing good. Andrew Nembhard is back, and he's playing games now, and he looks healthy. The bench has been a lot better, and things are they're peaking right now. They're really peaking at the right time. Finally, have completely flipped this head on the season where it was looking really, sad and kind of like, dang, what's going to happen to this team that was just literally in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. And now they're below 500, but they have completely flipped the season all around, which is why patience is virtue. Because, if they would have panicked early in the year and made some moves, maybe they wouldn't be here right now. But they didn't panic. They stayed the course. And now they waited for the health. They waited for players to kind of find their rhythm. And now they're in a rhythm. They're in a groove. They're playing very, very good basketball right now and look a lot more like last year's Indiana Pacers team. So shout out to the Pacers for finally figuring out, what works and what doesn't work. And now, they're top 5 in the East comfortably. At number 10, we have the LA Clippers. They are 28-20 at 6th in the Western Conference. They have the 20th rated offense, 2nd rated defense, and are 8th in net rating. They jump up 1 spot from last power video. The Clippers have been, had a really nice end to January. They started January off losing 3 of their first 4 games. Since then, they won 8 of their last 11 games. And now they're 8 games above 500, comfortably in that top 6 in the Western. Well, maybe not comfortably in the top 6, but like in the top 6 of the West. And things are looking good. Kawhi's back, and so far since Kawhi's back, he's been all right. He hasn't really had to do too much because they're still playing really good without him. The defense is still at an elite level. James Harden named to the All-Star game. Norm Powell's still doing his thing. They just literally made a trade as I'm recording this video, getting in Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills, 2 guys I feel like will help their bench, finally getting a backup big, because Mo Bamba wasn't really cutting it. And Patty Mills, another veteran guard, then come in and can bring some things to this team. So yeah, the Clippers are playing really well, man. I have no more to say about the Clippers. They've been so good, blowed away all my expectations, and now they look like they're going to be a playoff team in the Western Conference this year, where I thought there wasn't even a shot they're going to make the play-in. But I was wrong, and they have been proving me wrong. Their defense is so good. It's really keeping them in the games, even though their offense isn't super crazy. It's not like they're putting up 135 points. But they just it's enough to get it done. And James Harden still has shown that at 35, 36 years old in year 16, he can still be an engine to an offense that's really, really good. To a team that's really, really good. So shout out to the Clippers. At number 9, we have the LA Lakers. They are 27-19 at 5th in the West. They have the 13th rated offense, 20th rated defense, and are 17th in net rating. They jump up 3 spots from last power ranking video. The Lakers, after a rocky start to January, things have been very good recently. They've won 7 of their last 9 games. They are comfortably like in the playoff in the Western Conference. And yeah, unfortunately now they have the news that AD is going to be out for a week, which really, really sucks, But LeBron's been playing LeBron things. Austin Reeves has really stepped up. He's been such a key piece in bringing this team back. Max Christie has also been pretty good. Dwayne Finney-Smith is acquiring him. Has been solid. He's been all right. And yeah, things are just looking a lot better for the Lakers. Their offense is kind of clicking a little bit more. They're beginning some pretty nice wins, putting up a lot of points. We're going to see what happens without AD, how this team kind of fares in early February. But I think they're really solid. It's very interesting because they have been really streaky. Right now, they're currently on a hot streak, so maybe I'm just getting caught up in the hot streak. But we'll see what happens in February and how this starts without Anthony Davis for a couple games. And yeah, but yeah, the Lakers, I mean, they have a really good record, top 5 in the Western Conference. You know, they've been pretty solid in terms of their offensive ability. Their defense still can get better, but it hasn't been super, super horrible like it was early in the year. And yeah, man, I mean, they're doing it. At number 8, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. They're 26 and 20, sitting at 4th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 12th rated offense, 9th rated defense, 11th in net rating. They jump up one spot from last Power Game video. The Bucks, after losing the first couple games of January, they went on a big streak. They won 8 of 9 games in mid-January, and it was like, hey, here are the Bucks. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. Lost to San Antonio last night, lost to Portland. Not the greatest losses, but they're still a really good team. Giannis is still playing really good. Damian Lillard has really stepped his game up a whole lot. He had a really good month of January, so that's really, again, opening things up. Chris Middleton is back, and he's slowly starting to get back into place. You know, Gary Trent Jr. has had some good moments. I love the lineup of Andre Jackson and Taurean Prince out there. They bring a lot to this team. And yeah, a lot of talk has been about a trade potentially. You know, there's a report that they're open into looking at what happens with, you know, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton. Maybe they might get involved in the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes, not getting Jimmy Butler, but in terms of being a team to facilitate, maybe taking on a Bradley Beal, even though they've denied that report. Or maybe taking a Zach LaVine. Like maybe a big trade could happen in Milwaukee. I don't really know. I'm not going to buy all the way into it. But the Bucks still are a dangerous team, especially when it comes to playoff time and stuff like that. And I'm very, you know, excited for this Bucks team. You know, I really like watching this Bucks team. Giannis and Dame are both playing at an amazing level right now. They got to keep it going. At number 7, we have the Denver Nuggets. They are 29 and 19, sitting at 4th in the Western Conference. They have the 4th rated offense, 21st defense, and are 7th in net rating. They jump up 3 spots from last Power Ranking video. The Nuggets, you know, they were one of the hottest teams in the league. I mean, they won 8 of 9 games in mid-January, and the Nuggets are looking very good. They won a 3-game losing streak, but last night they snapped it, winning against the 76ers. And they're still a really good team, and Jokic is still doing Jokic things. It's been ridiculous. Jamal Murray is finally back. Jamal Murray, over this January stretch, really has stepped his game up big time. Russell Westbrook is now a full-time starter. They made the lineup switch, putting Westbrook in. Now Aaron Gordon is also in. Christian Brown's coming off the bench. And Westbrook has just been such a key part of this team as well. Aaron Gordon is back. Christian Brown is still doing pretty good things. And the Nuggets are still good. They still have a lot of depth struggles. They still are really only like a 6-man team, really. You know, but they're playing really good. And when you have Nikola Jokic, you're going to have a chance to win every single night. And Jokic is still doing that, averaging day near a 30-point triple-double, almost 50, 40, 90. So he's still doing his thing. But Jamal Murray being back. Jamal Murray stepping up his game, playing very well. He had a really good game last night against the 76ers in the win. So, like, he's really stepping up, and that's changing a lot for this team. At number 6, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. They are 32 and 16 at 3rd in the West. They have the 5th rated offense, 7th rated defense, and are 5th in net rating. They dropped 2 spots from last Power Ranking video, but the Grizzlies are still very, very good. They are hot right now. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. Things have been very good. They won a 6-game win streak a little bit. Lost to the Knicks, but then come back and they beat the Rockets in a very close game the other day. And they're still really good. I mean, Jaren Jackson into the All-Star. Doing all this with Ja Morant hasn't been super great. Ja Morant hasn't been superstar Ja Morant this year, and he still has missed a lot of games. And yet they're still winning. I mean, the depth is still there. Obviously, Luke Kennard has been really good recently. Jalen Wells still having a really good year. Desmond Bane has really stepped up as the season's progressed. And things have been just really good for Memphis. I mean, they're still a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. One of very few teams. You know, one of, I want to say, what, 1, 2, 4 teams that are top 5 in both categories. I mean, sorry, top 10 in both categories. And just doing all the things right. You know, the depth is still there. I want to see what the trade deadline looks like. There's been talks that Marcus Smart potentially is a move that could be made that can help some things. Like, I just want to see what the trade deadline looks like. But the Grizzlies still one of my favorite teams to watch. Still very, very good. And even without even without Ja Morant having to be superstar Ja Morant, you know, they still are very, very good and a dangerous team in the West. At number 5, we have the New York Knicks. They are 32 and 16 at 3rd in the East. They have the 2nd rated offense, 13th rated defense, and are 4th in net rating. They stay the same from last Power Ranking video. But the Knicks, still really good. They've won 5 in a row. They won 6 of their last 7 games. Offense is still elite. I mean, they scored 143 points in back-to-back games against the Kings and the Grizzlies. Jalen Brunson and Cat are both all-star starters, which well-deserved for them. Josh Hart has been just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Triple-doubles. Doing all the Josh Hart things has been very good. OG and McHale have been doing his thing. Still a lot of depth issues, obviously. Still a lot of depth, you know, problems. Miles McBride is still decent. Cameron Payne has actually had a pretty solid month of January as well. Precious Achiuwa's back, and he's been decent. But still, you know, depth has a lot to be desired. But their starting five is just so so good, man. Like they just put up so much. It's crazy. Still crazy to think the Knicks are like an offensive juggernaut, an offensive power, like offensive just hub where they're just gonna put up 135, 140 points regularly, and it's like, dang, we've never seen this from the Knicks before. At number 4, we have the Houston Rockets. They are 32 and 15 at second in the West. They have the 10th rated offense, 4th rated defense, and are 6th in net rating. They jump up 2 spots on last power video. What a January for the Rockets. I mean, they already were really good before. You know, they walked into 2025 with a 21 and 11 record, but January just put them on a whole nother atmosphere. You know, I mean, they went 11 and 4 in the month of January, but the wins they got, they beat the Mavericks, they beat the Grizzlies back-to-back games, they beat the Nuggets, they beat the Cavs back-to-back games, the Celtics. Like, they just got some amazing wins and really have shown themselves. Operation Sengun named an All-Star, which well-deserved. Amen Thompson, I mean, just took the NBA by storm in the past week. You know, has some amazing monster games. Dylan Brooks has been on fire recently as well. Jalen Green is still, he's kind of a little bit on the down streak, but he's still, you know, been doing decent things. The defense has been elite. They've been getting some really good wins, closing out games as well. Like, it's just been so good. The Rockets are a genuinely, like, really, really good team. You know, the only really problem they have is like the experience for one, and two, their lack of really having a go-to scorer in the half court. You know, and having a guy that they can consistently rely on. But besides that, I mean, they have the defense, they have energy, they have good player, they have just everything, good coaching, they have everything else. You know, so the Rockets are genuinely like a really good team, and I'm very intrigued because they already kind of put down all the rumors of trades, kind of wanting to see like, all right, how's this playoff run going to go with this roster, and then after that we adjust, kind of similar to what OKC did last year, where it's like, all right, let's go through a playoff run. All right, we found out Josh Giddey isn't available. All right, trade him. We need another big. Go get him. I think that's what the Rockets are going to do. They're going to see what happens in this playoff run, see what the flaws are, and be like, all right, we need this. All right, let's go out and get this. We need this. Let's do this. You know, like just not trying to rush it, but just trying to wait and see, evaluate. All right, what else do we need to help this team right now? But let's just keep this young core together because right now they're playing such amazing and fun basketball. At number 3, we have the Boston Celtics. They are 34 and 15 at second in the East. They have the 3rd rated offense, 5th rated defense, and are 3rd in net rating. They stay the same from last power ranking video. Celtics just haven't been as elite of the Celtics as we're used to seeing. You know, January was kind of a little bit rocky for them. Rocky in their regards, they still only lost like 5 games in January and are still almost 20 games above 500. So we're saying rocky, but they just haven't been as elite of the Boston Celtics as we're used to seeing. You know, their 3-point shooting has just not been there, not been as on fire as it was, which when you take a lot of threes like them, they're going to have some stretches, you know, but the 3-point shot has just not been there. The defense hasn't been as smooth and as, you know, locked down as it usually is. And they're just not playing as up to standard of champion Celtics as we are used to seeing. You know, they're still really good. They're still going to win a lot of games because they're the Celtics and they have so much talent and they're a good team still. But they just haven't been as super elite. And it's really interesting to see, you know, wondering how real is this? Like, is this just championship hangover and it's just them kind of just knowing that the regular season doesn't really matter too much to them anymore? And once they hit playoff time, all of a sudden it's just going to flip a switch and they're going to look like the Celtics again? Or is this actually like a thing, you know, that we have to really be concerned about? So it's just interesting to see how that's going to look for the rest of the year. I mean, they're still really good. They haven't been as, you know, top tier elite above everyone else as we're used to seeing them. And number 2, we have the OKC Thunder. They are 37 and 9, now number 1 in the West. They have the 6th rated offense, 1st defense, 1st in net rating. They stay the same from last power ranking video. OKC is still OKC. They're still running things up, you know. Still been very, very good. Shea continuing to lead the MVP race, at least for me personally. You know, he's just been really good. J-Dub been announced to the All-Star game. That's really nice to see. The role players are still playing really good. And they're still OKC. They're still a dangerous team that just, you know, you can't really stop them. You just got to hope that to contain them at some point, which is what the Warriors did the other night, which is really cool to see. But yeah, besides that, I mean, they're OKC. They're going to finish number 1 in the West. Shea might win MVP this year. They're still just really, really good. There's not much more to say about them. They're just so, so good, you know, that you just kind of got to be like, yeah, it's the Thunder. And at number 1, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are 39 and 9, number 1 in the East, number 1 in the NBA. 1st offense, 8th defense, 2nd in net rating. They stay the same from last power ranking video. About to be at 40 wins by the All-Star break. They're probably going to be at like 45, 46 wins, which is crazy. Did go on a little 3-game losing streak in the middle of January, but they bounced back. They've won 3 in a row, dominantly, all of them. And yeah, still playing good. They got 3 All-Stars, DG and Evan Mobley. Shout out to them, both making the All-Star game. They're all dealing with injury problems as well. Evan Mobley missed a couple games, but he's back here. So Vert's out. Dean Wade is out. Isaac Okoro is out. So they have injury problems right now. They're dealing with a little bit, not major ones, but just little key piece, like core, like, wing players, that type of pieces. But besides that, yeah, they just been rolling as the Cavaliers and doing their thing. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.